Welcome to BirdGang Nation Sports Talk. The Philadelphia Eagles have some breaking news today. We did interview Brian Daboll. And I repeat, we did interview Brian Daboll. We're going to talk about that and much, much more with my boy Tom Stakes on tonight. So sit back and let's take this ride to the next level. Let's go.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? I'm your quarterback. How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? I'm your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was going to play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is win.
BirdGang 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. Catch me on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like the Eagles. I'm one O-line, Jalen Hurts top 5. Run it like Saquon, like I'm down Queen. Always open AJ, touchdown, say. Strap him up like Divisional, sack him up, Zach Mom. On the road to victory, yeah. We gon' watch our Eagles fly. Hit him low, hit him high. 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 BirdGang 31 is a host, man. Bringing Eagles to your door like the postman. Make some noise if you a real Birds fan. Make some noise if you a real Hurts fan. Yeah.
What is up? What is up, everybody? I'm your host, BirdGang 31. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe. Join the chat as we talk about what's going down in this offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. It feels kind of weird even talking offseason, but I brought my boy Tom in because he's always got a good conversation about these Birds, baby. How you doing today, Tom?
Oh yeah, doing well. Yeah, it's weird. We're eliminated early for the.
It's weird, ain't it? Like I haven't even got used to it. I'm just like, I should be talking about the game. You know, we're going against the Rams today. We're going against the Seahawks, my guy. Let's go win this chip.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's not how
it's different from
right.
last year, but we'll be back.
So we're gonna get into this Daboll thing. Shout out to all you guys for stopping by. Let's do some what's up to some people in here. Let's see who we got here. We got Mrs. BirdGang saying, Eagle fans, y'all ready? That's what's up. Salute to you. Salute to you. He said, Greg says, I got a little lag on my little computer thing here. Here we go. Greg says, we have got some serious business we got to get into. We need to keep it 100. We always keep it 100. Greg. We always keep it 100 on this any show that I'm on for sure. And you know, when Tom's takes are always 100% facts, baby. So you ain't got to worry about that, man. So, Tom, before we get into everything, man, I know you guys want to talk about it. You know, we did have Brian Daboll in the building, but I want to talk about one thing that it was the biggest shocker to me in the world. Like, Indiana is your undefeated national championship. Like, how is that even possible? How do you go from like the 85th ranked team to undefeated national championship? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is one of those underdog stories. I guess that's why they're the Hoosiers, right? They're always that.
They're good for basketball. That's what I know them for, basketball. I never knew them to be good at anything else.
It's crazy because like the Pacers went to the finals, and even though they lost, still such a crazy season for them. And then Indiana, and then the Colts even were good this year. So I think Indiana deserves a little more credit.
Yeah, hey, it's because of that quarterback, man. I love this guy, man. Look at this guy, Mendoza, on the 4th down to win. Mendoza's going to be a beast.
Well, I'll tell you what. Kid's got heart. He's got talent. He's got skill. He's got everything, but you can't take those hits in the NFL. I know that. So it was a fun college play, but he's got to watch how he puts his body on the line and make sure he knows that the NFL is different in that regard. So
and that's why I like him, because he don't care. He ain't even that big. He look kind of tall. I don't know his numbers or whatnot, but he ain't even like, built like Jalen Hurts or whatnot. But I like that heart at the end of the game. This is the national championship. Your team, storybook ending, can be there. He did not crack under pressure. He made the play. Remind me of the Jalen Hurts play against the Bills a couple years ago, overtime. What we're going to do here, we're going to win the game or we're not going to win the game. Quarterback draw, win the game, man. That was freaking amazing, man. Salute to you guys, Indiana, and all you guys over there, man. Mendoza, Cooper Jr. played a good game over there. That defense played great. And what about that head coach, man? Like, this guy said, Google me. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, y'all don't know who I am? Google me. All I do is win. Like, I'm saying, Nick Sirianni, you keep slipping up on it now. We might have to call Indiana and get us a coach up in here. My God, I like that. You like Google me, and then you come out and go undefeated and win the national championship. You beat teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, freaking more teams. I forgot the other team they played, but man, all big name schools you done beat like it ain't nothing. Like you blew some of them out, to be honest with you. Like this was a tight little game. Hey, salute to Miami for making it there. I just had to give my shout out to Mendoza and those guys at Indiana. That was crazy.
Absolutely. College is a passion-driven thing, and when you have an underdog like that, and the coach no one knew about, and the quarterback that came out and did what he did, it makes for a story for sure. It makes for something to root for, and I think a lot of people were pulling for Indiana. I loved what I saw out of them all year with what they did. So I don't really pay. I'll be honest. I don't really pay much attention to college football, but that was a story you just couldn't ignore.
I love my college football. My team hasn't been good in a while. That's kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? I'm a USC Trojan. You know what I'm saying? I am happy with my boy Sam Darnold in the freaking championship.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Don't the USC team have a good receiver, Lemons or something?
Yeah.
Malachi Lemons, I think, right?
Yeah. I think that is it, Malachi Lemons. But like I watched them like until they lose a couple of games, then I'm like, okay, they're not gonna make it this year. We've been hurting ever since Pete Carroll messed up the team. Like,
that was a good
team. Those guys, they just left us hanging. We haven't even been. We've been getting better and better every year, but we're definitely not no championship team right now. Like we're gonna get there though. Hopefully, we got Lincoln Riley over there. Hopefully, he brings the team back to promise. But I always get hyped up. Like Seattle also got the big cat over there from USC. You know what I'm saying? Defensive tackle, awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I have to go for Seattle. To win the Super Bowl now. Just because you got a couple of my USC boys. I don't really like none of these teams, to be honest with you. I want to slap the shit out of the Rams. I don't want the Rams. Slap them around a little bit.
That's my least. That's the least team I want. I mean, I don't really care for any of them.
I want to go Knicks to do it just because I was at the Senior Bowl with him. I feel like we had kind of a connection from talking to him. But, he got hurt. I don't know how that happened either. Like, how do you get hurt and you're walking around after the game like it ain't nothing going on? Did you get the shot? You just didn't feel it? What happened there? Like, to be out in the playoffs.
A great story would be, unfortunately for Bo Nix, would be like Jarrett Stidham to kind of pull off a little Nick Foles situation and just go crazy for 2 games, and the Broncos still end up winning the Super Bowl, but it wasn't Bo Nix that did it. Like, that would be that Nick Foles.
He comes back like Carson. No, I don't want to win a ring. I want to win my own. No, but they're not in Philadelphia, so I don't think it'll be as big of a deal. He'd probably be like any normal quarterback should be, and be happy that they still won because he knows.
Yeah, I mean, like you saw when Jalen
was a little B. We ain't gonna get him Carson. He little B. He ain't did nothing since he left the Eagles. Like that. Carson wasn't meant for the NFL like that. He cracked some pressure, but second greatest college football championship era besides the LSU with Joe Burrows. And that's pretty high praise right there. I can't even say Indiana being good. Like, are they going to be good next year? His brother already transferred out. His brother's going to Georgia Tech right now, so it ain't going to be a Mendoza show next year. And do you think, like, the Raiders or somebody that need a head coach, do you think one of these guys go grab this guy, and make him their head coach? He's a disciple of Nick Saban there, and he is showing that he is just as disciplined as Saban is, 100%.
Well, we know how Saban did in the NFL, so maybe it is more of a college thing. But I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to take a college coach. I'll say this: Mendoza's definitely got a chance to go in the first pick of the draft for sure. I mean, he's supposed to go first overall. So I don't know. Sometimes
The Raiders.
Yeah, sometimes things change. You never know, but they'll probably really like him. I don't know. His personality in interviews is he's very like straight edge. He seems really good, like a good dude. So a lot of people say he sounds like he's reading when he's talking, like he's rehearsing, like he rehearsed it. But
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of I think it's Tebow. Or even a Tebow.
He honestly reminds me a little bit of Andrew Luck.
In terms of talking to the media.
Yeah, exactly. Like in terms of
talking. Glory to God! Like, look at this guy. I gotta look at him. Yeah, that wasn't Tim Tebow, my guy. Like,
Tim Tebow in terms of him being, a religious guy, but I feel like he's very wired. Cerebrally wired. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he knows what to say. And I feel like if you want to get a professional, you draft a guy like that. So he's shown all that, shown all the tools. We'll see how he does.
Do you think the Raiders should draft him number 1?
I think if I'm the Raiders, not to say anything about him, but I would trade out of the pick. I think they need a lot more. I think they could get a haul for the top pick, and then I think they should kind of unload some of their top players too. Whoever doesn't mind it. A lot of people are throwing Max Crosby out there, and it's like, well, yeah, as long as he wants to get traded and he's okay with it, then cool. But if he is a guy that's like, no, I want to stay with this team while we rebuild, then just keep him. I mean, it doesn't matter, but you got to rebuild. You got to completely tear things up and be like, we're not going to win for a few years. Like, we can't. I don't know if I'd put a rookie quarterback in that environment, or maybe you do get the rookie quarterback.
Gentry's only second year now. Bowers just be his third year.
But you need an offensive line because none of that's going to work, and a young quarterback's going to get crushed behind that offensive line. So unless they really love Mendoza, I would get rid of the pick, let someone else, because there's always QBs that come out.
You're not talking about dropping out of the top 10 though.
No,
because you could think if you got number 1, you can just drop a 3 and probably get 2 first.
Yeah, you probably. I mean, I don't know 2 first for two spots, but probably drop down to whoever wants a quarterback in the top 10. Yeah, just stay in the top 10, but get a couple firsts, draft O lineman, draft D lineman, and eventually add a QB maybe next year.
Yeah, that's possible, man. But salute to you. I hope Mendoza, you have a great career. Let's get to this NFL thing. We got some new coaches. Coaches coming, coaches going, and coaches getting interviewed. First off, we start off.
I think of this is one of the craziest periods with coaching hires I've ever seen, because the Bills and Ravens are such attractive jobs. You're not used to seeing teams that are so good have.
And Pittsburgh too.
And who?
The Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers, right? The Steelers. Yep.
Those crazy teams right there.
Those 3 teams, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bills, is those 3 jobs are insane to all have all 3 at the same time. So there's a lot of good candidates out there, but to be honest, one of them is going to get kind of screwed, I feel, because I don't know if there's enough that they're going to have to one of the teams going to have to risk it on some younger guy that no one really expected, and
that can reshape their whole trajectory. You can be a perennial Pro Bowl, playoff team, and now not even make the playoffs because you made the wrong move there. That's going to be crazy this offseason, to see which teams actually made the right hires. And even all those good coaches leaving, Harbaugh's going to the Giants. How you feeling about that? Do you think that makes the Giants any better?
Yeah, when you get a coach like that who has pedigree and experience, you're going to have a more professional organization that runs a little bit better, like obviously, but it really still comes down to the youth on their team. And I think while they could get turned in the right direction, I don't think it necessarily makes them a championship contender. And I think
you gotta realize all the good players didn't really play last year.
Neighbors
Dart was out, Scatterby was out, Neighbors was out the whole year.
So we saw flashes of some of the talented players they have and everything, but we still have to see, years and years of them proving it over and over and over for them to actually be, on the field and prove they're healthy and all that. And I think Harbaugh can start to get them to go that way. So it's a good hire, and we'll see how long.
They get the Giants to at least third in the division, maybe even second. Because I feel like we got it again. We ain't gonna get into that, but I feel like we got it.
Yeah, we got to see. You got to see who's all good. I mean, the Giants still have Dallas, who they haven't beaten anything meaningful in years since Dak.
What's up, my guy?
So Dak Prescott, in reality, the Dak Prescott Dallas Cowboys era has been really good against all of the teams in our division. Despite not winning it every year, they usually are able to win most of their games in their division. So anytime anyone talks about the Giants or the Commanders coming up and challenging the Eagles, I'm like, well, the Eagles are the team that's probably the most successful, but start with the Dallas Cowboys. Can you beat the Cowboys? Because the Commanders and Giants have not even came close to competing with the Dallas Cowboys when they play them. Like, they check their record against them over the last 10 years. It's abysmal. I mean, they just own them. So we'll see. Can you beat the Cowboys? That's the question, because we're a different level. We're a Super Bowl level team. We already
we up here.
So
I don't care what happened this year. We up here. Y'all down there.
Even going up trying to get us. So I'm going to see those three teams sort themselves out, because we already know we are a playoff team every year. I mean, unless catastrophic injuries happen, our worst years have been like 11-5, losing in the playoffs. So, or 11-6. I'm sorry. So, yeah, you got to see how they do against Dallas. To me, that's the big question.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, hey, John Harbaugh used to be an Eagle. I do love the Eagles coaching tree, but it seemed like a lot of them. McDermott was on it. Harbaugh's on it. Like all these guys are finally. You think how these long tenures so, and you got to think about your team. Are you going to keep going down the same cycle where you get to a point where you're spoiled and a playoff's not good enough? You know what I'm saying? Like Harbaugh only won one Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Tomlin won Super Bowl, but you've been on these teams for like 18, 19 years, my guy. Like,
yeah.
But you made it. At least Tomlin never had a losing season and made the playoffs a lot of those years. So it's like,
it is.
When did you say? Because like the Super Bowl's so hard to win. Like,
it's a numbers game. You just have to give yourself a chance as many years as you can and capitalize on the years you have your best team. Unfortunately, in that many years, Tomlin only capitalized on one really good team. That's not really the greatest shooting percentage, but you had a chance a lot and you ended up not coming up and getting it. So, like, that kind of goes for like what we're going through right now with the Eagles and Nick Sirianni. Like, yeah, dude, we're not going to win every year. We're going to have some disappointing years where we're like, oh, should we just fire everyone and get rid of guys? Like, the two top guys are Hurts and Sirianni. It's the head coach and the quarterback. When things go wrong, there's a group of fans that hate the coach and there's a group of fans that hate the quarterback. And that's just how it's always been. But the thing is, for me, is like, well, I've seen these guys go to 2 Super Bowls. So, no, I just want to keep taking shots with them. Yeah, I know sometimes we're going to miss our shot, but you could reload in the offseason and go right back. Like, we've seen it already twice. So, to me, it's like it doesn't make sense to try to tear up things that other people are chasing. Like, every team in the league is chasing a head coach and a quarterback combo that goes to the playoffs and goes to the Super Bowl all the time. So, like, we have that here. We've had it at least. So until those results aren't coming in, until I see a major drop-off, like we missed the playoffs or down a downward trajectory, I'm trying to take as many shots with Hurts and Sirianni as I can. So we'll see. They'll load up. But that's what Harbaugh, they did in Baltimore with Harbaugh, and it didn't work. I think Laurie knows you got to cut loose on like things, and Howie knows they both cut bait on things that aren't working. You saw it with Carson Wentz, you saw it with Chip Kelly, you saw it with Doug Peterson even after a Super Bowl. But right now, I think they're seeing something that's working with Hurts and Sirianni, and they're like, yo, if we just have to get this new coordinator and talk things out, smooth things out, that's what we're going to do. So they're right in the beginning of their their chances to take shots with these guys. And I think that's the best you can do right now. So that's what these other teams are trying to do. Now the Giants got Harbaugh; they're going to try to do it, and other teams have done it for years. And when you find your coach quarterback that you're going to the playoffs every year with, you kind of have to just like keep them around. Like, unfortunately, sometimes you don't win, but you kind of that's the first step to winning. So that's kind of what we're seeing. You think McDermott's going to get a job?
He has to, right? Like, there's too many open jobs. Is he going to get the job he wants?
I almost feel like I'm interested to see if these teams shuffle coaches around. Like, what if McDermott gets hired to Baltimore and like Daboll goes to Buffalo, and then it's like all the same coaches that just got fired? Or does a team go and risk it and get some hot young OC like or a passing game coordinator or something like that to come up and just be this random big time new young up and coming coach?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see that. So that's going to decide how the Eagles end up too. I mean, Mike McDaniel's also out there too. Like, someone could sign him. So
we'll definitely talk about Mike. But one guy that's not coming back is this guy right here, Tomlin. He's done. He says he doesn't regret it. He's not ever coming back to football. He's retired. Is what I heard from Mike Tomlin. He's hanging him up. Like, is he a Hall of Fame coach?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard to say you never had a losing season, and he coached for so long and he won a ring. I don't see any reason that you wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame. You have your guys that aren't as good as some of the other guys, but they're all in the same hall. So if you want to put them on tiers, I wouldn't put Tomlin on like tier 0, but I'd put him in tier 1 Hall of Famer.
That's what's up, yeah.
He's not Belichick or like Reed, but he's like probably with him and Harbaugh are similar, right? So
definitely, they're on the same level for sure. I think they coached their teams about the same amount of years too. What about this? What do you think about Salas going to Tennessee?
I think that it's hard to say because you got Cam Ward, who's a young quarterback. I would go with offense, but what do I know? I mean, I think he's a good coach. So, they had Mike Vrabel, and I think they saw that worked, and they went with a young offensive mind the last time with Callahan. So maybe they saw a lot of similarities to Mike Vrabel, and they said, look, we're going to be tough. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play good defense. We want a leader, a guy that can lead, and I think he's a good coach, so I like it. And we'll see what they do at offensive coordinator, because you also have to bring that quarterback along.
That's all that matters, I think, in that situation is who you're going to bring in as your offensive coordinator. Because we know your defense is legit. Like, when he was with the Jets, he didn't know what to do with the offense, right? But the defense has always been good, you know. And when he was a Niner, the Niners brought him back last year. Look at them. They made it to the playoffs, even with some bums beat us. So, Salas knows how to coach on that defense side.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
It's all about his offense coordinator. I think if he can find a young, maybe not a veteran coach that can come in there and mentor this Cam Ward guy. Cam Ward got talent. You can tell, Tennessee's had quarterbacks with talent. Look at Malik Willis last year with the Green Bay Packers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a great season over there when he had to step in for Jordan Love. Sitting there talking about maybe even him getting traded to Miami, I think it is. Miami, where his GM and coach is over there. So,
yeah,
it could be. It's like I said, Sauce is all about that offensive coordinator. And I think if they get the right offensive coordinator, he could be good. Is he going to be a championship quarterback? Team? I don't know about Tennessee being a championship team. They got a lot of holes to fill over there. But he's definitely going to bring that defense, because they had a decent defense. He can make that defense a little better over there.
Yeah, no, I think so too. So we'll see what they do on offense. But
let's get to our team, my guy. This is what everybody wanted to see. Our boy KP's out there, buddy. He's gone. Was it too late? Because I'm gonna take it as this is coaching malpractice by Nick Sirianni, keeping his best friend too long. And I really feel like he cost us a championship run this year.
No, because I've never been of the thought that it was all, the fault of the offensive coordinator. I don't think firing him would have made much of a difference. I think people would have been disappointed and started ragging on Sirianni even more, to be honest with you, because if Kevin Patullo got fired in the middle of the season, it would have fallen on Sirianni. There was no one else that you could have realistically said has the autonomy to call plays. You would have had to put it on Sirianni. I mean, if you're going to make the QB coach call plays, then I mean, what would have really changed? You're reading out of the same recipe book. So, and he didn't have any experience either in the pros. So I don't think that changing the coordinator was going to make much of a difference. I think there were also a lot more problems on the offensive line, and the receiver was pouting around all season and didn't make the plays after he complained about not getting the ball, and that kind of rubbed, I think, a lot of people the wrong way in the fan base too. And there was problems all year. The discipline was bad, and that falls on coaching for sure. But I don't think firing Kevin Patullo is the difference between a championship and not. I just don't think this team was good enough. But better late than never. If that's how you want to look at it, if you believe that, and then yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, they had to make the move at some point, and I didn't expect them to stay throughout the season or throughout the offseason. So they got rid of them fast, and now they've started interviewing a ton of guys, and we move.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And like I said, the whole time, the biggest number one thing besides Kevin Patullo would be the offensive line not being healthy. That's
really,
where it all starts.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. If the offensive line is not healthy, you're not doing nothing on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the NFL, that's the biggest thing on the field. And a lot of people want to talk about talented players like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon. Yeah, they're going to get all the glory, but the O line is you can't do anything if you can't block. That's what makes you predictable, is when you can't run inside. We'll just run outside. Well, every D coordinator knows you're doing that. If they know you can't run inside, we're sitting on Twitter saying it. Well, why do they keep running inside if they can't? Because the defense is like, please do. We're going to guard everything else, right? So I don't know. I mean, maybe if they had an elite offensive line and could have just dominated, then it wouldn't have put as much stress on Kevin Patullo as a young offensive coordinator. But if they would have had like a Sean McVay, and it's like, oh shit, I got to draw some stuff up to get like this thing going, he could have had more success with that because he's just a better offensive minded guy. So I think it falls on not having either one of the two and just changing play callers to. Unless we could have went and got Sean McVay mid-season, I don't think we had anyone in the building or anyone was available to be like much better in that way. And I think it would have still been Nick Sirianni's scheme, as people like to say, which isn't necessarily a great thing. It's fair criticism, but it's something that you got to see if you can fix in the off season. And like I said, I'm willing to take shots with Sirianni and Hurts because I've seen what they can do when you bring someone in that's a little more structured and a little more organized on offense. We also need the O-line to get their back together. I mean, you have to think about bringing in a new OC, and then what happens if the O-line still looks like crap? And now we're thinking fire Sirianni, and it's like displaced too. It's like that's the nucleus of this team is the O-line. Jeff Stoutland, like that's what we prided this offense on for years. So unless they're coming in,
and that's what I asked. I think I've asked you like on a previous show. I definitely asked JC before. Like, do you think Jeff Stoutland didn't get enough? Like hate on him. Everybody got the hate on him. Like, hello, we've always depended on you. Even the first Super Bowl, getting Vea, Sam Mala, all these backups that play. That play for us. Ended up being good at other places and help win games for us. It's like we always don't even think about that coming to the season. Like whatever lineman you picked, who cares? Stoutland got them. Stoutland gonna make sure they're right. And this year,
they were horrible.
It wasn't right.
No, yeah, exactly. So a lot of people did say that too. Like, why isn't Stoutland getting more blame? And I think you can put blame on coaches, but then you also have to look at who's on the football field playing the games. You think Coach Stoutland is coaching Cam Jurgens up to miss blocks? Probably not. He's just not executing. So as much as they tell these guys, here's how it's done, they just didn't look good this year. And maybe it was injuries. Maybe it was just a bad year. Like it happens. It's a year-to-year league. But for whatever reason, this team could not go to its main identity, which was just running the football inside, outside, tosses, draws, whatever you needed to do. They could do that. And this year they were limping around looking sorry. I mean, this offensive line was a sloppy mess, and they deserve a lot of criticism. I think the coaches took a lot of the heat, and it became popular to talk about. But if you can dominate at the line of scrimmage, I mean, was Kellen Moore doing anything spectacular? No, Saquon was just popping 60-yard touchdowns like every week.
Wasn't getting touched for like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. Like he literally was averaged 4 yards before contact, which is like that's not in the NFL. That's like unheard of. It was like a high school offense. Literally, they didn't need to run anything crazy. And like I said, everyone said that like, oh, it's just a high school offense. This is the most basic scheme. It's like, yeah, because it literally just worked. Like we were cooking. Like players deserve so much credit for how great they executed. But like football can be a simple game, and there's little intricacies. And Kellen Moore is a better play caller, and his experience helped. But like, I mean, like you said, these guys weren't getting touched. We had plenty of weeks last year where we were complaining about the passing offense and how the route concept looks basic and this and that. So it was like the same kind of offense, but without being able to actually dominate and run the ball. And Saquon had to make spin moves and get his legs grabbed in the backfield every play. And it made our offense look a little bit different. So if we can get back to that run game, I really don't. Like, I didn't want Kevin Patullo to stick around. I want someone new, fresh, come in here, bring some new ideas, and have a little bit of an idea of what they're doing. But I don't care if it's Bobby Slowick or Brian Daboll or whoever. Like, it doesn't matter to me. As long as it's just someone that has some semblance of what they're doing, the main thing for me is the O-line dominate. If they dominate, I promise Bobby Slowick can get us to the Super Bowl as the OC here, or whoever else we interviewed that people were like, oh, I don't want any of these guys. I'm telling you, if the O-line dominates, it doesn't pick any of them. They'll go. I'm telling you.
We'll get through a couple of these real fast. These candidates, these I think are the, definitely the two top candidates that everybody's talking about. But here's the one that I just heard of today that isn't even in his name's not even a hat. But people think from the way that he's been breaking down Eagles games. What about Nick Foles, man? What about breaking Nick Foles? It'll be a first-time, coaching job, which we hate here in Philadelphia, but it's not the Nick Sirianni first-time coaching, candidate. Nick Foles, if you watched our season all year long, Nick has his own podcast. Shout out to the Nick Foles podcast over there. And he broke down everything wrong and right about Jalen and this offense from film the whole season long. Like, Eagles fans are even asking, should we even interview him just to see what he would even say? The dude got a statue outside of the stadium, my guy. I think he should have some kind of credibility if he wanted to walk in there and be like, hey, I want to be the OC, holla at me. Think of all the other OCs. A lot of these guys, that's how they became OCs. They just got their chance. They weren't, like a lot of these, even like the Mike McDaniels, a lot of these guys, they were coaching for a while. They weren't like just, they were just the next hottest thing because they were new. Do you think a Nick Foles can come in here and coach the Eagles? I mean, be the offensive coordinator, never calling plays, but being a quarterback for the Eagles himself.
Well, I'll tell you what. For number one, you have to have verbal confirmation that this guy wants to enter coaching, and then when he would enter coaching, he would not go right to offensive coordinator. That's a little bit ridiculous. Maybe as
what? DeMeco Ryan went straight to freaking defensive coordinator when he first started coaching. You think about some of these linebackers went straight to, I think Ryan's went straight in. I think go linebacker first.
I thought that. See that
I think something like I just didn't hear about, and then they got the defensive coordinator.
He was super young. He is super young. But he was the defensive quality control coach in San Francisco, and then he was the linebackers coach, and then he went to the D coordinator on the Niners, and then so he did have a fast track, but he started as quality control. So what I was saying was maybe he could be like a passing game coordinator, consultant, or something like that for a year, and then he would go up to the next. But I don't think Nick Foles, first of all, I don't even know if the guy wants to coach, but if he did, then he would be first in line for one of those types of like quality control or like passing game assistant or something. Like, think about Doug Peterson's. He did the same thing. He was working on Andy Reid's staff as a consultant, and then he went and he finally worked his way up to offensive coordinator, and then he became head coach. So if Nick Foles wanted to do that, I'm sure he's smart enough to do it. He seems like kind of one of those guys that would maybe make a better coach than, I mean, it's hard to say because he's like a folk legend in Philly.
He's only good with the Eagles, man.
But he would make a good coach in a sense that he was a quarterback before. Kind of like Dan Orlovsky. Like, I feel like Dan Orlovsky, instead of being a hot take BS artist, he could have entered like being like a young offensive consultant on a team, and then go into being a quarterback coach, and then going into being an OC. So that's what I would see as like for like a Nick Foles or a Dan Orlovsky or, you know, Drew Brees or any of those guys. But it just depends. Like, do you want to do that? Because you know what's a lot easier? Sitting on your ass like we're doing and talking about football, and you already know all this stuff and have a name, and your name will push your brand out, and he has that dad merchandise. Coaching is freaking hard. Coaching is like a gritty with like sweaty.
He's like doing it on his own time right now. You know what I'm saying? He's not in the building every day, 24/7, just grinding.
Right. Like being in the NFL in any capacity is a job. It is a lot.
Maybe he should just be like a consultant. Like every week, just holler at me on the phone for a couple of hours. Let me talk to you about your game plan.
Yeah. Yes.
The offensive coordinator assistant. He can start out there. You can be the assistant to the offensive coordinator where he calls a weekly call to tell you where you fucked up at.
That's the thing. Then like that's kind of like forbidden in the league too, where it's like, okay, if you're not going to be all in, then we don't really need you, brother. Like you're either here grinding the film with us every day, or we don't really need your advice. So it's like, you know, it's a grind, man. And I'll tell you what, Nick Foles looks super happy just sitting there and
he's ready to do the podcast next week and get all his views and get his paycheck that he's going to get because everybody's going to watch it again.
And he doesn't have to be at 2-a-day practices in the summer, sweating like a hog, watching Jalen Hurts throw the same pass 57 times in a row to get it perfect. Like, I'd rather just podcast, honestly. But
that's true. All right, what about my boy Mike McDaniel? This right here, this guy is the guy that I really want, like, for real. Look at him. He looks like a Nick Sirianni guy. You know, it looks like I can see him, Nick, and Howie partying together. You know what I'm saying? Getting their thing going. But his mind, you know, there's so many clips. You know, I didn't even save none of them. But just the way he breaks down offenses. Did you see the one Waller even said how, you know what I'm saying, like, he broke it down to the point where he was like, I guarantee a touchdown on this. And like, it was touchdown. You know, they show clips of him guaranteeing touchdown to touchdown, long drives, you know, the way he breaks down defenses, schemes, how he said he put the work in, and that's how he got to get to where he's at. You know, I feel like not every coordinator is good head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a thing. They go together. You look at what's that dude for the Patriots? Damn it. Bill Belichick's offensive coordinator first. Mike McDaniels.
Josh
McDaniel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he was a head coach, he was trash.
Right.
You know, when he's a coordinator, he's money.
I will say this though, I like Josh McDaniels as a head coach for the right team. Same with Cliff Kingsbury. But no, you're exactly right though. I personally think a guy like Kellen Moore is going to end up being a better OC than he'll ever be a head coach. Personally, like I think. There's plenty of guys like the Eagles produced too. Brad Childress was a guy that went. Frank Reich, if we're being honest, was probably a better OC. I mean, I don't want to blame Shane Steichen for, you know, guys getting hurt and they looked really good, but Shane Steichen so far, it kind of looks like a better OC. So I don't know.
That's hard to say though with Shane. Danny had the boys number one in the league, and then when he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like if they were losing before Danny got hurt and then they continued to kept losing, I would probably put it more on that. But when you start a quarterback go down, it's kind
I
of
know it's
not
tough.
too
But
many teams
what
to
about
come
all
back
the
in.
other? I mean, the other years too. But then he did. He drafted Anthony Richardson, who completely stunk. So, like, I can't really put it on him for that either. But at the same time, he did pick him. So I don't know. Like, your fate is just going to lie where it lies. I mean, Daniel Jones, he had him looking good, but like, can you really
That's
trust
weird, huh? That showed that Danny did have some kind of influence because Jonathan Taylor kind of fell off at the end too. You
Yeah, 100%.
know,
I mean, you
JT kind
remember
of
back.
fell off at the end. They couldn't do none of their offense right.
I
Hey,
mean,
shout out to Phillip Rivers for coming back. You know, a couple of games. Phillip, he looked like he was coaching some high school football.
believe it.
I
Yeah,
gave him props, man. Like he was making some plays, he made some plays, but yeah, it's
but
good that you.
you're right though. Josh McDaniels never really ended up being a good head coach. But guess what? Mike Vrabel's a hell of a head coach, and he doesn't call plays. So I think head coaching is like you have like roles and responsibilities as a head coach that are much more beyond just offensive focused and offensive play calling. And I think that that's what we have to trust in Philly is like that Sirianni is a good head coach, and really he just kind of needs that support on both sides of the ball. It's always great to have a head coach that even with Robert Saleh being like the defensive minded head coach, he's still going to have more responsibility than just defense now. Like everything's his responsibility. So
He understand that from his time with the Jets too. So he understood where he failed there. He's like,
exactly. So
I didn't do a good job here.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. But Mike McDaniel, yeah, offensive genius. We were talking about Mike McDaniel, and he's the hottest name on the market. And I mean, here's my thing is that the top jobs are like the Bills, Ravens, and Steelers. Do you think any three of them? I mean, yes, two of them have really, really good quarterbacks in the Ravens and the Bills, and it'd be fun to see Mike McDaniel like working with those guys, right? But do you think that's like the style of those teams and cities? Like Mike McDaniel gives me the vibes of kind of finesse and like head coaching for the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens, like those are like gritty, tough cities, and I feel like they should be getting a Mike Vrabel type head coach rather than like a Mike.
Head coach for sure. Head coach for sure. But see, that's why I think his bag is the offensive coordinator.
Stay on the
Detroit said that they weren't down with him. You know, it wouldn't be a good fit, but you know, they liked Campbell said he liked them. Which is thank you, Detroit, because I kind of feel like Campbell kind of wanted his own thing going again. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of already got their offense. It's not really a huge problem that they don't have a real offensive coordinator. He just wants to take the pressure off himself over there. But I just feel like he's that guy, man. He's like the wizard that we've been waiting for. And like how he said, he doesn't care if it's going to be a 1-year deal or not. Like I would like him to understand that you're a better offensive coordinator and think about him and himself, like not having to worry about freaking all the head coaching responsibilities. I can just get back in my bed and go out there and call plays. Etienne had great years with Mike McDaniel. Etienne, the running back, so you know Saquon can have great years. You know, they had 2 running backs over there. If we decide to keep Bigsby for another year or so, resign Bigsby or something, then you know what I'm saying? You got the 1-2 Bigsby. It's the same as Mostert and what did I just say? Etienne.
Is A-Chain, yeah, A-Chan, yeah.
And they got Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we've seen Mike McDaniel whip up some really, really high-powered offenses with weapons comparable to any top talented offense in the league. Like they had Tyreek, they had Waddle, so we have those two. It's not like the Eagles are lacking anything in the department of having talent for someone to work with. So really, all this panic, and all these clickbait articles saying that like the Eagles aren't really going to be able to hire anyone high quality because they don't want to work with like Nick Sirianni or they don't see a lot of potential in Jalen Hurts. It's just clickbait because those are the 2 guys that are so easy to criticize when something goes wrong. I think the Eagles are going to get a very quality candidate. And to be honest, to me, I feel like they may be prioritizing somebody that might actually end up staying for a few years. And that's maybe why they're not going to be interested in any of these. Like a Mike McDaniel just seems like a pipe dream kind of. It's like trying to hit the lottery.
Too good to be true. Like I feel like he would explode in this.
He's a guy that has like 4 head coaching offers on the table and like 7 offensive coordinator. Like it's like okay, why would he want to come to the Eagles? Yeah, maybe he would. It'd be great. It'd be cool. But like, I think that's kind of a like pie in the sky. But you need to like come back to earth and think like who's really going to get the job. I would like Brian Daboll as long as guys want to work with him. But he's another guy that could have some head coaching offers. I heard the Bills might be interested in bringing him back. So it's like those top guys that have head coaching experience and teams that are like playoff ready or need head coaches, which is so rare because usually playoff ready teams don't need new head coaches. But these guys, Bills, Ravens, Steelers, they do. So these guys could end up going to those teams, and we have to just be happy with getting the next guy. Kind of get the leftover, like whoever's going to be leftover. And I wouldn't mind a guy that isn't such a hot name because I think there's some quality guys out there that could stick around for a few years and build their reputation before taking a head coaching job because they'll see how quickly you can get fired. They don't want to step into a bad role like the Browns, dude. Mike McDaniel said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not coaching for the Browns," and just whoop, took himself out of that race. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that too. I'm not down with that team. He says nobody wants to cheer on any trash offense, so probably get a trash OC again.
I mean, you could say we'll probably get a trash OC again, and no one wants to run his offense. But Shane Steichen ran whatever offense you thought that was to the Super Bowl, and Kellen Moore ran whatever offense it was to a Super Bowl win. They both got head coaching jobs. So, I mean, I think guys want to get head coaching jobs, and this is a good place to
Rob said, should we promote from within? My answer is no. To be honest with you, anybody, and I know Daboll kind of, they want to say that that's the same, but Daboll's more of a Nick Saban, Bill Belichick disciple as opposed to a Nick Sirianni disciple. So anybody affiliated with the Colts or Nick Sirianni and his time at the Colts, like I don't want him. I'm done with that. I feel like that's a cover up for Nick to continue to do what he's been doing, and I don't want to see none of that. That's why I say McDaniel's coming in here would be awesome. A Daboll coming in here would be awesome. Like, what was the dude from LSU? Charlie Weiss Jr. Maybe check him out. Because LSU run a college office that's kind of like different than what we're doing here. But no, I'm not promoting inside that quarterback coach. I don't care how good of a head coach you possibly could be, or even offensive coordinator you possibly could be. I know we brought you on the team, probably even told you if the offensive coordinator job sucks, you probably can get promoted up. I don't want you there. I don't want nobody that's been there. None of that. We need a fresh start.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's too many good names externally and too many different things we could do to shake things up. And I think part of the NFL is just being unpredictable. I mean, that's in any sport. If you can guess what pitch is coming, it's a lot easier to hit the ball out of the park. So as an opponent, you need to be unpredictable. You throw curveballs, you throw knuckleballs, you know what I mean? And that's what we need to throw at the NFL again, because we've had the same players for 5 years and we've been successful. So each year it gets tougher and tougher on us because everyone knows what we're trying to do. Like, they know how we use AJ, Devontae, Saquon. Obviously, everyone saw that. O-line's been good for years. So, like, we need to kind of freshen things up. Obviously, have had the same quarterback as well, same tight end. So there needs to be some changes in, like, personnel, and there needs to be some changes in coaching and schematics. And if you don't adapt, then you're going to see this regime end, and they're not going to get rid of Jalen Hurts. It's going to be other guys first. It'll be the coach. It'll be other players. It's not going to be Jalen Hurts. So,
facts. I'm glad you said that because I agree on that too. Because I really feel like he's
not around him if this fails. So Nick Sirianni and this team, the goal is to adapt, evolve, make things different, so that instead of losing your jobs to make things different, you can just kind of tweak things, and you're like, hey, we're a little different, but it's same guys keeping their jobs year after year, and that's how you sustain success. So hopefully we see this Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and this offense and these players have a year or two more to try to go at this thing and get another one. But, because obviously it's not a repeat, but if they won in 2026, then it's like, holy shit, this core with this coach won 2 in 3 years and went to 3. That's pretty special. So I think they're going to take another shot with these guys. And if it doesn't go that way, then they're going to have some more changes. I mean, just That's all it is. You just change and change and change until the changes get bigger and bigger because you're losing more. But right now, I think we got a shot. So let's try it.
And that is crazy that's what I heard too today. That was a question they asked. They said, should the team that came back, with a championship mentality, like they are defending champion mentality. Like we're the champs, you gotta beat us to beat us type of thing. How they were like trying to really like soon as the season started, like eliminate that, forget the championship we won. And they didn't want to wear rings and stuff. Hey, they didn't want to wear rings. Do you think they should have embraced the role more going into this season? Then maybe they would have had more of a better outcome.
I just want guys to be themselves. So if that's what they wanted to do and that's how they felt, that's how they felt. But unfortunately, I don't think any of that helped our O-line's bodies get better and healthier. And I don't think that was going to help our.
But they were the main ones talking about how we're not the champions. So maybe that's their own fault. Maybe they should have came to the season with championship mentality and they wouldn't have got hurt.
Yeah, have a little chip on your shoulder. Maybe that would have helped. But no, I mean, that season just kind of was just like 2023. It wasn't as dramatic of a collapse, but we kind of just withered away all year. We just didn't really have that juice. And success is tough to sustain and handle, and I think everyone handles it differently. And the Eagles, that right after Super Bowl seasons, have not really been able to recapture that magic. So hopefully we can reload and give it another one.
Those guys were hurt. Those offensive linemen were hurt the whole time. I'm not really too worried about that one. But let's get to the main guy here. Brian Daboll was in the building today. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to say some of his accolades here. So it says here that he's a 5-time Super Bowl champion on the staff of the Patriots, right? He was AP Assistant Coach of the Year in 2020 with the Buffalo Bills and helped Josh Allen become one of the greatest, make one of the biggest leaps in his career. He was AP NFL Coach of the Year in 2022 for New York, bringing him back to, respect him until this last year where they fired him and they looked bad again. He's the architect of Josh Allen's breakout into being an elite quarterback. He won national championships as OC with the powerhouse Alabama. Roll Tide, go ahead, Roll Tide. He was offensive coordinator for the Bills, Dolphins, Browns, Chiefs, and he's known for his quarterback-friendly, adaptable offensive systems. I remember that year he made Danny Food Stamps look good. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the year he had like the longest run play against us and fumbled it at the end. It was the most hilarious play. I loved it. But so he got quite a resume, my guy. Like this guy's not playing around. You look at college national championships. I think this could be like your Vic Fangio type guy, where if he realizes that he might be a better offensive coordinator than head coach, then you might be able to sign this guy for like 2-3 years and let him really build up that resume.
Yeah, I thought that, and this to be honest, Brian Daboll was my first choice. I think it was before. It was obviously before Mike McDaniel got fired. I was holding a Twitter space, and somebody came in there. I was during the season, so Brian Daboll had already been fired, and that's what someone mentioned that and kind of went through some reasons. And I said, you know what, that's a really good candidate for the Eagles because he has that head coaching experience, and it would be just like focusing on offense. And he's got the connection with Hurts, he's got the connection with Saquon Barkley, and the biggest thing to me was that he might not jump right at a head coaching job. He might be a guy that kind of falls back and doesn't want like a bad job. But unfortunately, since then, the Bills job opened, the Ravens job opened, the Steelers job opened. So it's like now I'm like, damn, like maybe he will just take a really good head coaching job. But if he is left over, or if they really want him and he's like, you know what, I would love to work here. They got Saquon to recruit. They got Jalen Hurts to recruit. If those guys really truly like him that much and want him to stick around, that might be their guy. And I would welcome it very much so. I would very much so welcome that. And I'd love to see what they could do with him.
Like that resume that I listed off, the best parts about that was he adapts to quarterbacks.
Yeah,
You know, he
100%.
adapts to quarterbacks' strengths. Because I feel like KP was trying to do what Nick told him to and force upon everybody.
He
You
just
know,
didn't know what he was doing. He has no experience, and Brian Daboll has tons of experience, and that's really all you're looking for. You're just looking for some experience, a guy that knows what he's doing somewhat. I mean, Kellen Moore was an OC for like 5 years before he got to us, and it was his third team in 3 years, and we dominated and made it easy on him. And if we can do that, I'm confident in the OC. And Brian Daboll is more than a positive.
and then the relationships, you know, he was above Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni coach underneath him. Which do
Yeah.
you think that'd be weird? Nick's like, he's a coach. You
No.
know, now you're my offense coordinator. How about that, my guy? You know what I'm saying? Like the way the tables turn, my guy. Now you working for me, I was working for you, my guy. Now just follow suit. When I tell you to change something in your offense the way I need it to be done. You know them Eagles, man. You know they had that mafioso. You know what I'm saying? Big domino balls. You know.
But no, I think Nick Sirianni's a very easy to work with guy. As much as like we might see him acting like nuts and animated and stuff, and maybe some players aren't really like that. I think that if anything, like he's pretty approachable and easy to work with. I don't think anyone that he brings in is going to feel like they don't have the power to do things they want to do.
And then you hear people say like he was the coach when Jalen got benched that year, but he was Jalen's coach when they won that national championship.
I mean, it's not his fault he got benched. That wasn't his decision. So.
Yeah, that wasn't Daboll's position. So he knows Devontae Smith. That's another good plus there. You know Devontae. And it's going to bring back because, we kind of got to wait and see where the Eagles' direction of where they're going to go with this office coordinator position. But we can kind of transit this part to, is it time for Smitty to be our receiver number one? Is it time to let go of A.J. Brown and trade him? You know what I'm saying? Because I was listening to my boy Fran Duffy, and they were talking about it, you know what I'm saying? And like, what would it take to get A.J. Brown type thing? So this is what they say.
I don't know if it's a guarantee that they're going to get what they want for A.J. Brown in a trade. And what do you think that is the other question. So I can give you some past trades, but...
Sure, give me the past trades.
Seattle got a 2025 second-round pick for DK Metcalf and a day 3 pick swap last year. Metcalf had to sign a contract with the Steelers when he got there. So I think that's the floor for A.J. Brown. Okay. Like, I think if you're the Eagles, you look at that deal and you say that's not enough for A.J. Brown already signed to a contract.
A.J. is a year older than DK Metcalf was then.
But they were the same
but
draft
he is
class.
A better player.
Yeah.
And he's not getting a new contract.
Yeah. Devontae Adams from the Raiders to the Jets a few years ago was a conditional day 2 pick that could have turned into a first.
Okay.
If the Jets made the AFC Championship game. I think Tyreek Hill is like the absolute best case scenario that is unrealistic.
Sure.
He went for 5 picks, 3 of which were premium picks, a first and a second in 2022, and then a 2023 second as well. And then Odell, like a long time ago, I think it was 2014, went for a first, a second, and Jabril Peppers. So based off of those, I think based off of the history, you're probably asking for a first. I'm not confident the Eagles get a first for A.J. Brown.
The only way I think they get a first is if Mike Vrabel loses this AFC Championship and he's like, he's the piece that can put me over the top. Like, I need A.J. Brown. And it just depends on if the value is.
Would be the piece, hey, that's a good spot right there, my guy. Bring A.J. back home. You see reunion stories happen all the time. Bring A.J. back home. A.J. loves Vrabel, for one. And that's the team that drafted him in the first place. He came, he got his ring. Go back there where you can get your stats. There's no Derrick Henry there to freaking stop you from being elite.
That's not the team. That's not the team that drafted him. That was the Titans that drafted him with Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel. Now Vrabel coaches for the Patriots. Vrabel is the Patriots coach now.
Oh, what I think? I was thinking of Solace getting traded. I forgot. Yeah, Vrabel is the Patriots.
Yeah, Vrabel.
How they Solace get him? You know what I'm saying? Like Solace,
he's not going back to Tennessee. That team stinks. I don't.
But AJ wants the stats. That team stinks, but you got a young quarterback.
Yeah, but you
have no star receiver. and you got a second receiver over there in Calvin Ridley, right?
Yeah, think about him on the Patriots, though.
I don't want to think about him on the Patriots. They're already in the championship game. They're still playing, goddammit, Tom. I don't want to think about any team that is still playing football right now.
See, the thing is, like, a team like the Titans isn't going to give up a first-round pick for a receiver that's in his prime right now. Like, that's just a waste of a resource. You got to get. You got to
do it either. You know why the Patriots wouldn't do it? Because they got Stephen Diggs. He's balling out. That's gonna be. You're in the same situation if you go to the Patriots. You got another number one over there.
Yeah, he's not as good as he is right now. But you know what? It's really like the Bills that are more desperate for the position.
Ooh,
receiver really bad.
Ooh, the Bills don't got no receivers over there.
Yeah, he could definitely be. But like, look, at the end of the day, you're dangling him and saying, which one of you teams want to give us a first round pick for him? I mean, if you're looking to trade him, that's what you're doing first. Is saying, yeah, we'll give him away for a first, and if one of those teams jumps at it for a first, then you might do it. But most likely, I could see like the floor, like the guy said, is a second. Like the same thing DK went for. Get a second round pick. Hopefully, you can get it from like a team that is pretty high in the second round. Maybe Baltimore wants to give a look at it. I mean, they just had a bad season, so they're like not super high. But I don't know. Maybe a worse team, like some other team, wants to give you a second rounder, and they're in high up in the draft.
I think like a Cleveland Browns might give you a first round pick. Yeah, Shador Sanders need a good receiver.
Right, like a dumb team like the Browns.
Or what happened if you don't give up a first rounder, right? But you give us AJ, because I made a video about this, a clip about this one. AJ for Myles Garrett. Myles doesn't want to be there no more.
Well, I mean,
you trade us Myles Garrett. That helps with our defense.
Though Myles Garrett had his chance to leave, and he signed a $40 million a year contract.
So he can make sure he secured the bag, my guy. Now he can leave. The bag is secured. If he comes over here, guess what? He still got the bag. And look at this.
He'd have to pay.
The Eagles are the least spending in terms of least expensive defense in the NFL. Would a Myles Garrett move to the middle of the pack? Yes. But guess what? We're still one of the least expensive defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, but that's also because we have like Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, and Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis all on their rookie deal still, and they all need a contract. So that's going to move.
Or need a contract. They don't all need a contract. Let's keep it real. You know how you can wait. I know next year these guys are going to need a contract, right? But for this year, and Howie said he's all in for this year and this year only.
Oh, yeah.
That contract, what did he sign? So he'll be with our team for at least 4 years. Some of these players don't need to get re-signed in that case. If you got a Myles Garrett, the number one sack leader of all time on your defense, I'm pretty sure you're going to let some of these guys go. You can do things like letting Nakobe Dean walk because you don't got to re-sign Nakobe Dean because you got, the young buck, in the wings there, right? I feel like you need Jordan Davis regardless, and you need Jalen Carter regardless. But who else is Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean? Other than that, all the other starting positions are wide open. Like, you don't need none of those guys for real. You can draft players to put there. You can look at free agency to cover up some places. But if you had Jalen Carter, Myles Garrett, and Jordan Davis on the same defensive line, you're into trouble.
Yeah, that would be a really nice deal. But first of all, I don't think that's really going to work out for just in general because of how
it works out for Cleveland too because they don't have no star receiver, and AJ would be happy there because guess what? If Shador's half the man that he think he is, that's your number one target, and AJ can get all the balls he wants over there.
Yeah, I don't think AJ Brown would want to go to the Cleveland Browns either, and that's kind of what I was going to get at. He's too vested in the Eagles. I think if they were to trade him, I think it would be the pit where he'd want to go because they'd at least respect him just because he helped us win a Super Bowl, and I don't think trading him to Cleveland would really work. I don't think he would want to. I mean, Mike McDaniel just said no thanks to the head coaching job. I don't think AJ is going to be like, yeah, trade me there. I'd be so happy there. I think he wants to win, but play with a quarterback that's proven to be able. Shador is, you got the potential, but you got other quarterbacks and other teams that need wide receivers that are probably more attractive destinations. So
I'm saying in terms of compensation back, I don't really care about the other team's benefits. you're getting AJ Brown. I'm talking about for the Eagles. Like that would be or even the Raiders. Matt Crosby, you bring AJ from. They're gonna have Fernando over there, nice young quarterback, just won a natty. You know what I'm saying? Heisman Trophy winner. Now you got a young guy that's gonna force feed you the ball. But then I don't know if he can get force fed over there either because you got to give the ball to Bowers too.
I think a lot of people misunderstand AJ Brown. I think he wants to be great, not necessarily force fed the ball. Like force fed, yeah, but like not on like a bad. I think he wants to be great, but I don't think he wants to do it on a bad team either. Like he wants both. He wants to win and like.
Because that's not realistic. The good teams, even us, like I don't feel like AJ. You heard the reports, right? Since week 3, even asking for trade, and people has confirmed that he did really ask for trades. So I'm like, you've seen the effort throughout the season was not there, and that's all. I've been dogging AJ all year long. All year long, I've been consistent with it. Like you've been giving half-ass effort, you're not really freaking trying, and then you bomb in the playoffs, the worst possible game you could possibly have. Bye, my guy. See you later. Obviously, you're checked out. If you got a guy checked out like that, you gotta get rid of him. T.O., receiver, out.
No, you're right. You're right, because it doesn't help us. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I love AJ Brown for what he did here, but if he's gonna be like not really like if he's gonna be all checked out and like acting like that, then it really isn't AJ Brown. It's just like another bum like that isn't helping. Like I'd rather have a guy that's not as talented but giving 100% than AJ Brown, because it's like you're not going to get anything done with that. So if he doesn't want to be here and he really wants to get out and get traded and they need to trade him, then there's a lot of options. But I do think that it would be to a team, whatever team would be willing to give out the best offer and give up a first round.
Trump says, who thinks AJ lost a step? I'm not saying AJ lost a step. I would say
I don't think
it wasn't that he didn't try as hard.
Yeah, he wasn't mentally there. Like he looked so mentally checked out a lot of the time. Like a lot of the routes were bad, and it just seemed. And even when he scored, he was just like, "Oh."
Here it is, though, Tom. And this is probably people gonna hate on me for even bringing this up because I'm gonna say this anyway. It's gonna be rough a little bit. You guys work with me here, guys. Even though AJ, because AJ wants to be the number one guy, right? And our team's not there because Smitty's going to always have 1,000. And I think AJ looks at it, if we don't have a Smitty on the team, I can have 1,600 yards. AJ probably only come back if the right coordinator's there, like a Josh McDaniels, like a big-time name that's going to come in there. That's proven to get the ball spread around, you know what I'm saying? But do you think at all, and listen, guys, I am very sensitive to this subject too, but the mental health of AJ plays a part. Because you heard Kelsey talk about AJ needs to take a little break like Aaron Rodgers did and go to the cave. Jason Kelsey said this. And go to the cave and chill out and, get his mental right and then come back. Do you think his cousins, Antonio Brown, another one of the best receivers in NFL history, that lost his shit at the end? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not hating on nobody. Like, hey, it's a serious issue. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like poo-poo on or nothing. But do you think it's in the family to the point where this is him? Because you think about AJ, he's been all pros every year except for this year, right? He's been over 1,000 yards every year except for this year. He even was this year too. So it's like it's not really statistically a reason really to be this mad. You know what I'm saying? Like he done stuff that other receivers haven't done, but he still is like so unhappy about it. Like he's still so like, do you think it could be correlation to the family bloodline?
I thought about this a few years back, and it felt so accurate, and I didn't really want it to be, but it like felt accurate. I thought that this thought was that eventually AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, not as loudly as McNabb and T.O., but they were gonna quietly like grow apart a little bit and start to be like so prideful where like they're like they almost are like so like they're so successful that they like don't really care about the success more than like they just want to do it their way. And so I think that's what A.J. Brown's been. Like, he got here, he was dominant, he was immediately loved by the fans, he was the best receiver on the team, he was one of the best in the league. They had all this shit to prove. He proved it, he earned it, he was dominant, and now he's just kind of like another player. Now it's done and they won, and he's just kind of like another player on the team that's like good, and they're all good and they can get the ball, and things don't always go right, and the journey is like different now because they're going for number 2, not the first one. And I feel like it just is gotten to that point where maybe he just like not that he doesn't want to win, but like he'd almost rather risk not winning just to play somewhere else and just like be loved by another fan base that appreciates him, in his mind, appreciates him more, and the organization, and they want to get him the ball, and like he's just sick of like the same shit year after year. And I think that's kind of what's happening. And I think it has to do with his relationship with, not just Jalen Hurts, but everybody, the coaching on the team, everything. I think he's just a guy that wants change and wants to keep chasing something because that's what motivates him. And I think here he's felt like he's accomplished everything he can. Like the journey is over. The journey, he can't get the passion for the journey back up here. And that's what it looked like this year to me.
And do you think they have to do? You think Antonio Brown, same thing, Super Bowl champion, right?
Yeah,
best receiver in the game.
I think they're a little different, but yeah, it's a mental health thing. It's like he's looking for happiness. That's kind of to me what mental health is. It's like when you're not mentally healthy, it's like because you feel like you have to do something. Like you have to do something to change it. If you're like, oh, I feel depressed. Well, that's just like your body telling you to like make something, do something different. That's kind of all you can do. So I think that he's just run his course as an Eagle. And, unless he tells the guys that like he really wants to stay and he's in and he's back and he's going to work his hardest, and he's going to get in the best shape of his life, and he's going to be such a bright light in the locker room. I don't know if that's what he wants to be here. I think maybe somewhere else, but and the grass isn't always greener. Maybe it won't make him happy, but I think he might be willing to take the risk and just, try his game somewhere else. And look, if that's what he wants, then that's best for the Eagles to just let him go, because you're not going to win much with a guy that's not bought in. Like you said, once a guy's mentally checked out, it's just like he's not really him. It's not having A.J. Brown. If we could have 2022 A.J. Brown, I'd be like, oh yeah, why would we trade that?
Yeah, all day.
Right now, he's not like mentally, like seemingly like he's bought into what the Eagles are doing. And maybe a new OC does change that. Maybe he sees a guy come in and they're like, yeah, we want to work with you. Like, we're going to get you the ball. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then they're happy and all that. But till all this stuff.
For me, it's been like 3 years. Like it's always been a point where he seemed like he's unhappy.
Yeah, like last year they was
doing good, dude. Like you were all pro except for this year, every single year. So it's not like you're not like getting accolades. I feel like he wants to be like the number one receiver in terms of like reception, yards, touchdown. And on this team, that's just not a place for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it has to do with that. Like his first year here, he was like quiet because it was his first year. So who was he to come in and ruffle feathers? But the more like success they had and the more like leadership he got, he's not really handled it in a way that's like giving off like the vibes of what the team responds to. And there's different leadership styles. So if that's the kind of leader he wants to be, or he wants to go prove himself somewhere else, then that's on him. But yeah, no, he's really got to figure out what he wants. Because I'm not going into this season like feeling sorry for these guys. Like, oh, well, they just don't like the coaching, or they don't like each other, and they don't get along. Like, no, speak up now, get it done now, because you have
motherfucking piece.
Yeah, if they go into the season in September on the same team and everything's good, like I'm not doing the excuses thing of they don't like coaching or they don't like each other, or not. Like, no, like figure it out. Like this is on you guys now. So figure it out what it's going to be right now, because we can't keep doing this as a franchise. It's a bad look. Like just move on if you don't want to be together,
Facts. Hey, shout out to the 100 in here. Hit that like wherever you're at. If you're on X, hit that like, that follow, that retweet. button for me. If you're on YouTube, hit that like, follow, reshare this content, man. Salute to all you guys for being out here with me and my boy Tom, man. You know, the truth is on hiatus until after the Super Bowl. JC take a little break. So I'm gonna be on here, you know, with Tom. If Tom wants to come, whoever wants to come over, talk some football, even if it's me by myself. But Tom said he had me tonight, so we're gonna see what it goes with. Tom, I will say this: what free agents? Because this is another thing that hasn't really been talked about. I talked about it a little bit with JC last show. What free agents do you feel like the Eagles have to bring back this offseason? We got Tank Disney. Brandon Graham said he's down to play another season. You know, you got who else free agent here? You got the cornerback.
One more year on his deal.
Who?
I think Tank Bigsby has one more year on his deal. Actually,
Does he? He's not out this year.
I think his fourth season is coming up.
Okay, so you got N'Kobe Dean,
Jalen
Dallas
Phillips,
Goedert, Jahan Dawson,
Jalen Phillips,
Jalen Phillips,
Reed Blankenship. Yeah, so I think that Jalen Phillips would be a hell of a grab, but I think he's going to be a little too expensive for what we want to spend, which sucks because I don't know how we're going to have like an edge rush if we can't get our hands back on him. Maybe he's our big signing and we just neglect everyone else. I think you can get Reed for a decent price because his market is not going to be that great. I think he's going to be more valuable in Philly at whatever we can pay him than taking a little more money somewhere else. I don't think he's going to get that much more anyway. Dallas Goedert, God, his market's probably not going to be that great either. I mean, he's a good tight end, but he's like 30 plus now. So I don't know. Again, maybe we can bring him.
He's still one of the best coming off a 12 touchdown season. Like Goddard, regardless, like he's probably top 5 for sure on everybody's board.
Yeah, he is good. Like, I mean, it just comes down to like what his market's going to be. I don't know how good it's going to be, but maybe some other team wants to sign him to a big contract. He wants to go, but we can't give him too much. I like Kenyon Sadiq a lot in the draft. That would be a freaking awesome pick, but I don't know.
Someone said that's who it is. You know, I think I've seen a lot of mock drafts say that that's who we're picking up the tight end in the first round.
He's kind of like a receiver, honestly, but it would be sweet to put him in our offense and just go nuts with him. But we need blocking tight ends too. Like,
definitely need some blockers too.
Yeah, because we ask a lot of our line and our tight ends to block, and they just really aren't all that good at it right now. Even Goddard had a bad year blocking. Calcaterra has never been a good blocker, so I think that's a focus. You got to bring in some cheap blocking tight ends to really ensure this run game. Anyway, back to the free agents.
Jordan, because I feel like Campbell has to play now. Campbell came back after when N'Kobe Dean came back. I know he got benched, but when N'Kobe went back down, then Campbell came back and he actually played the run game. So you got to play him.
I think N'Kobe, his market might be pretty high, and he might be gone. Honestly, like you drafted a linebacker in the first round, so you can't, and then you paid Bond, so you can't really like keep paying these guys. Like you can't just keep paying linebackers. It's not a position that you're stacked at linebacker. You got to let your young guy play. So I think Campbell's going to take over that spot.
Good. Who else we say? Elliott. What we doing with the kickers? Elliott, we let him go, or we're getting a new kicker?
Might be time to let him go, but God, it's so like teams hang on to kickers so much longer than they should nowadays. So I mean, any days. That's a hard position to like find a guy that you trust, and he's been trustworthy, but he was just like bad this year. So, yeah, we need to figure it out. Maybe they give him one more chance at it because of his tenure, but this could be a rough one if they do. I just hope they start taking risks and making changes and stop considering, tenure and such, because that's what gets a lot of these teams in trouble, and it's going to happen. It's always going to happen to everyone. So that could be
he's the best, and then he's not the best, and then he's the best, and he's not the best. So you're like, is this just a little, Elliott slump? Is he going to come back and make those picks? But this year he was horrible all year long.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's had slumps before, so maybe you just like keep believing in him for another year. But I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of injury that wasn't disclosed. I'm not going to.
You bringing him back? Yes or no? If you had to guess.
I don't know what I personally would do, but I think they probably will.
They probably will. And who else we're missing here? Oh, look at this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Elliott. I think Elliott's under contract anyway. I don't think he's a free agent. I think that
But they can cut his ass for sure.
oh yeah, I know. Yeah, they could if they wanted to. But yeah, he signed an extension. So like keeping him isn't giving him anything. It's just like keeping him. So I mean, it's either they cut him or they keep him. So it's not, at least they don't really have to do anything unless they want to get rid of him.
Would you take a poke at this guy? He got released from the Packers, Trayvon Diggs,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be your CB2.
yeah, I mean,
Whole off season, healthy, bring him to a winning culture, put him alongside Quinyon Mitchell. He don't have to be number 1. He'll be number 2 with Cooper DeJean, the 2 All-Pros out there. My guy.
yeah.
When they first let him go and the Green Bay picked him up, I was mad at Green Bay picked him up. I'm like, I'm gonna get both of them. You can't get Parsons and freaking Diggs. That's cheating. You know what I'm saying? But now that they released him, I feel like the Birds should go get him. This off, have a whole off season. Go ahead and go pick this guy up right now, Howie.
Yeah, I mean, CB2 is always going to be something for us that we probably just like have to kind of rotate through and pick guys up. And it kind of reminds me of like a James Bradbury type play where it's like he got cut by the Giants and everyone's like, oh, he stinks. But like he got in the right defense and he ended up having a good season. I mean, obviously, the second year wasn't good, but that first year that he played here on a 1-year deal, he proved his value and proved his worth. I think when you look at this defense, you see that kind of opportunity at this position. There's only, cornerback 2 on the Eagles from now on is going to be one of those positions where like a veteran can come and recoup some of their value because it's such an easy position to have success in. Like you just saw Dory Jackson have a great year. You're never going to cover the number 1. You have a great nickel. You have some good safeties, and you have a genius-minded defensive coordinator that's been very successful. Plus, the D-line is really good, and the team overall is successful. So, corner 2 is a very low-pressure spot that a guy like Trayvon Diggs could probably thrive in. And, I don't think him going and signing a big contract with another team is too smart for that team to give him that. But taking a risk on him for like a year on a prove-it contract for the Eagles and see how he does, I would welcome that. And he also has a relationship with Jalen Hurts from Alabama, Devontae probably from Alabama as well. And then he also going in the same division as the Dallas Cowboys isn't too bad, especially you bring in like a Brian Daboll, and now it's like, oh, there he's trying to get at the Giants, and then we would have Diggs trying to get at the Cowboys and liking that.
Rock it down now, or they bring that Pickens, my guy, on the other side.
Exactly. We got guys on with a chip on their shoulder to beat our division up, so let's do it.
When you look at what the Giants did with their players, like everybody thought they were done, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley's, let them go and get into the wild, get a new start. Now you see full potential on a good team. Like I think, like you said, this could be that guy. Like that's the sleeper that we've been waiting for in terms of CB2. But we can sign him to like a 3-year deal right now. Lock him up. He's already paid, so it's not like, he's really probably doing it for the money, even though they all doing it for money. But I'm saying we could probably get a good deal with him, for like a 2-3-year deal right now. And with him, Quinyon, and Coop, unless they're trying, now that Coop's an all-pro, trying to put him on the outside, which I don't think Banjo wants to do. But I can see now the pressure's getting molded towards like, okay, he's an all-pro corner. Why are you trying to get another star? Why don't you just put him out there and go get a new nickel corner?
Yeah, but a nickel corner basically now is a starter. He's an all-pro at nickel. So I think that's perfect for him. And he's always going to move around. But I think just adding another corner, you could definitely look at some – you're going to look at veterans every year because I don't know necessarily – maybe they bring – like you're probably thinking like, oh, we could bring a Dory back for another year because he's not going to ask for much.
I'm a USC fan. I love Adoree. But I had enough of what I can take of him. He did an admirable job on our team. I'm not going to poo-poo on Adoree. Good job for you, my guy. Go find another home somewhere else.
It is going to be someone like that, though, because you have a
guy doesn't worry about it. Like it's a wrap. Like wrap up that spot. Like with Slay playing at all high levels, and Quinyon was playing high levels, and DeJean playing low. Our secondary was locked down. And I feel like I want another guy that's going to help lock that down. With Adoree, it wasn't locked down. It was good, but it wasn't locked down. I feel like a Diggs. Everybody's doubting him, seeing if he can even get back to what he was. because he played with the Cowgirls.
That's a question, though, right?
Perfect spot for him.
Yeah, that is a question. I mean, that's the whole thing about having such a great team is that you can't really like have every position solved. And cornerback too is commonly like a position that you're probably going to skimp at a little bit. So the goal here would be to get Diggs on a contract that's not that expensive, and hopefully he plays back at that high level. You're going to end up, I mean, it's just taking guesses. So, I mean, there is a question, does he actually get to that level? So you think about it, you sign him and he stinks, then you're like, damn, maybe we should have brought him. He hasn't been able to stay healthy either. That's another question where it's like,
but everybody stays healthy on the Eagles.
Yeah, I know. We've had really good injury history with everything. But like if you bring Trayvon Diggs in and you're like, all right, well let's let him play, and he tears his ACL week 7, and you're like, man, we could have had like a more reliable player that's probably got a little less upside. So I mean, it's all a guessing game. But I would like to see Trayvon Diggs. That'd be awesome. It'd be good. Take a jab at Dallas with that and have him, like you said, locking up their receivers. That'd be cool. I'd love to see it.
We did with Jair, and that didn't work out very well.
Mm-hmm.
He retired. He might even come back to Austin. Who knows? Yeah. So, what was his last little bit here before we got out of here? I want to talk about here. He says AJ already said that he has mental health issues. Mark, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, that could be part of it. Like, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, that could be the result of what we're seeing here. Like, that's just a result of it. It's like a guy that can never, like you said, never fully feel satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a mental health issue. Like, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been all pro like 3 years in a row. Like, you are literally one of the best receivers in the league. And for you to feel weird about having to get to like number 1 specifically, I think that's kind of dramatic, don't you think? Like, you don't have to be number 1. Just be happy being top 5 and keep winning Super Bowl, my guy.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people would kill it. It's funny because a lot of guys are like, man, I would love to win a Super Bowl. And he's like,
a lot of guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. But what was it here? I had it here. Before we got out of here, these are some of the games. It came out, these are the games we're going to be playing next year.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Here we go. How you like this early look at the 2026 opponents next year? How do you feel about that, Tom?
I mean, I think it's the NFL is tough. The NFL is a tough league, and every year that comes out, I don't remember the last time someone looked at our schedule and said, wow, this schedule looks like it sucks. Like, I mean, relative to what we are, even, we're a really good team. And I think every year for the past several years, people have said, wow, this is a tough schedule, whether it's, first place schedule or we came in second or in the division. There's a couple different games on there every year that rotate, but ultimately we play most 14 out of 17 games, the same as our division, and then the head-to-heads as well. So the whole NFC East, man, we got to play some tough opponents here. We got the NFC South, or AFC South, I'm sorry. So you got the Jags, playoff team, the Texans, awesome defense, playoff team. The Colts looked really good up until their quarterback got hurt. And you got the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals. So you're playing the NFC West, just like all the same teams in our division are. So, I mean, if you're going to say the Eagles' schedule is tough, then you also have to consider that the NFC East is tough. Think about it. The Cowboys have to play the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers. Mm-hmm. They also have to play the Jags, the Texans. Bring it back up one more time.
Yeah.
And then some of our first place games are like the Chicago Bears, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Carolina Panthers. I'm not too worried about that as the first place games. Like, the Bears are good on the road; it'll be tough, but I could see us taking Pittsburgh and Carolina at home. Those would be some good games to play. But I think it's a pretty decent schedule. I like
some of the destinations away, man. Like I like going to Cali and go see some San Francisco 49ers. Going to Arizona, go watch my mom, go visit my mom, and go check out the Cardinals. And then this year too, Tennessee's like an hour away, 2 hours away from me. Going to go to Tennessee, go check out a
Yeah,
game there.
that's the road trip.
The road game's looking pretty nice for me next year. I look like BirdGang gonna be out in a lot of games,
Yeah, depending on the scheduling, like the order of the games and what months they're in, I'm definitely going to try to do one of those road games. I think the Tennessee game is the one we're talking about too, so that'd be fun. And then some of the home games look good too. I mean, obviously, I always like to see them play inside the division, but you got the Rams again, you got Seattle. Those two teams are in the NFC Championship right now, so that's pretty cool. And I
But
think
it's like, how many times can you beat the Rams, my guy? Like, if we go down and beat them again, it's like these guys.
yeah.
That's a good game. You're right. I want to go see us beat them again. Like, that's what I want. That'd be nice. I'm like a game where at least before the game, I won't feel so nervous. I'm like, listen, we're gonna beat these guys like 4 times in a row. So it should be easy 1-2 until we get up in there. And depending, like this whole season is basically coming off this coach's search. Like we got the defense coordinator, we got the young defense already. We got players signed on defense. Like, yeah, it's like some of them, their contracts are coming up, but guess what? We don't got to pay them right now. Like even we re-signed Jordan Davis to his 5th-year contract. So technically, none of these contracts need to be re-signed to the end of the season next year. So we're gonna have some money. If we trade AJ, I heard they said that if we trade AJ, we save $7 million this year by trading them before June 1st. So it's like that's looking realistic. Oh yeah, that was the question I wanted, Tom. Do you think if we traded AJ instead of worrying about grabbing a receiver in the draft, do you think we've been grooming, Dotson? Yeah, he's a free agent. That we re-sign Dotson and let him be the number 2. Because I feel like
I like
before
it.
you answer, I feel like this. He's put his time in. You know what I'm saying? 2 years, a couple of balls here and there, but making plays when you need to make plays. Being very humbled about he's a first-round draft pick. He was the number 1 receiver already. He got pushed out of pedestal here. It would be kind of like he earned it, the opportunity, at least for a year, to just go ahead and sign him to a 1-year deal if we trade AJ and let him and Smitty be number 1 and 2. And go get another receiver. I'm not saying not go get one. Or even Derek Cooper. Coop steps up, and fills into that number 3 role. Because I could see if that was your number, it was a Smitty, Dotson, Cooper, another tight end, the rookie or whatever. I think that's a nice little passing game. If you got a competent coordinator.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like down on the Eagles' offense if AJ Brown was to depart and they went in and grabbed the receiver in the draft or something like that, or and also brought Dotson back. But I'll say this: if you are getting rid of AJ Brown, you're giving the chance to Dotson or a rookie or whoever, then all that means to me is that obviously Smitty's going to get more touches, but then you're really relying on the run game. So I hope if they're going to eliminate a passing game weapon, they have to get rid of AJ. And okay, I get it, but you better be ready to run the ball at a high level. So go get tank up.
But do you see it the other way too? Like we get rid of AJ, now Smitty gets a chance to be the best receiver in the NFL because that's another reason too. Smitty, you can tell this year, the end of the season, Smitty kind of had an attitude where he's like, he's happy he got to do 1,000 yards again, but he wants to be better too. He wants to be one of the best receivers in the league too, and I think he's earned it with the big plays that he's made for this football team. All the big catches that he's made for this football team. He's earned being a chance. Imagine if you don't got an AJ Brown on your team. You're getting that many more targets. You're getting that many more yards. Now Smitty can look at first-team All-Pros. Now Smitty can get his Pro Bowl, his first-team All-Pro. The same thing. He's even said publicly that he wants. He's just not a crybaby about it. He's just like, yeah, become, but this is what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's great. And I know we already won, and I know guys want to do what they want to do, and all that. But you also have to keep in mind that goal is to win the game. So this, idea of guys getting their chance to put up certain stats and this and that, that is what it is. But you still got to run the ball well. You still got to be able to give the ball to multiple guys because you have to be multi-dimensional offensively. Getting certain guys the ball is only just going to, again, make you kind of rigid in that way. And I think there's always room for a number 1 receiver to get the most attention because he's the best. So whether that's AJ, Devontae, whoever's here, they're going to get the most targets. But I still think you have to rely on the little things in the NFL. Who's the other options that you can go to? What else can you do on offense? You run the ball with both running backs, get 2 tight ends involved. So no matter what happens, to be successful, you need your whole team. And so whatever AJ and Devontae want out of this, you got to have guys that understand that, they're going to have some weeks it's not going to be their week, or they're a decoy, or they're going to have a bad game, or defense is going to play them a certain way. And so they have to be accepting of that too.
Okay, so I guess everybody that wanted Mike McDaniels has said we need to double check and make sure it's official, but Mike McDaniels went to the Chargers to be the Chargers OC over there with Jim Harbaugh. It was a good spot. That's another good spot. I'm not hating. You got a young Herbert. You got backs over there. You got a good defense over there. You got some receivers over there. That's another good spot, man. Like, woo. But that means that now that I feel like you gotta go Daboll. I hope today's, interview went well now that I see that. Because I really wanted Mike McDaniels. That was my guy. That's why I wanted number 1. And with him off the board, I would say Daboll was number 2. You need to go get Daboll, man. I don't know how that interview went today, but hopefully in the morning, now that Mike's signed, Eagles realize that this is your best candidate, and you throw the bag at him, because the bag does not count on our salary cap. So just throw the bag at him and go get this guy. Damn, I'm mad about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. I mean remember what I said earlier in the show? Run that clip back. I said, does it seem like Mike McDaniel is the type of guy that's going to go be a head coach in a Baltimore or a Buffalo or a Pittsburgh, those tougher cities, the East Coast cities? No. And what did he do? He took a job as OC in LA for the Chargers with a finesse passing quarterback. Like, it makes a lot of sense. To be honest, I don't get me wrong. I think Mike McDaniel would have been a lot of fun here in Philly, but I think that like we could get by with a guy that is more of a well-rounded, run the ball kind of guy. I think McDaniel is a perfect fit for the Chargers. If we're being honest, it makes a lot of sense. It's gonna look good in that powder blue with those aviators on at SoFi Stadium. It's a hell.
You got Harbaugh, your coach. He know how to lead a team. It's a good fit. I ain't gonna hate on it. It's a good fit. It's definitely a good fit, man. But damn, I want him on his team, man.
I'm fine with it. Stay in the AFC. Stay in the AFC. Do what you want to do. I'm fine with it. It makes sense. It's a good fit.
That makes Daboll number 1 priority now.
Yeah, Daboll's probably now. Daboll becomes the most decorated, experienced coach on the market. So now you either, hey, and guess what? He's like in our building right now. So it's like you have your chance at it. If he doesn't want to
don't let him leave, Howie. Tomorrow we're gonna wake up to alerts. Brian Daboll is your offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, my God.
Yeah,
the other guys they say they brought in, those guys are trash, man. I don't like that.
No, that would be pretty surreal if Brian Daboll did become the OC, because he was like the first guy I was on. But I think there's a lot of good candidates out there still. And, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know, one guy from another regardless. I just think Daboll has the most experience, and it's pretty cool with their relationships. But I couldn't blame him if he got a head coaching offer. If he was up in Buffalo, if Buffalo gave him the job, then Buffalo gave him the job. You know what I mean?
Ravens, Buffalo. He went to one of those two.
Yeah, you can't be mad at it. Like
even Pittsburgh, even one of those 3, because I can see it.
And so what a lot of people are saying is like, well, they should just fire Sirianni then. But it's like, would you really want Brian Daboll as our head coach? I wouldn't.
No.
Like, I don't really want that. Like, I just
want. Like I said before, like we talked about this, like on the truth, and we're like, who else is better than Nick Sirianni right now in the league? Like
exactly. Like, and
he has the most wins out of anybody. Right. As long as you're the number 1 guy, it's like, we know we went to the playoffs still. He's never not been in the playoffs ever.
Right.
Jalen's never not been in the playoffs as a starter. Like you said, keep those guys together, and until we're not going to the playoffs and until we're not competing for championships, and that's when I'll worry about it. Yeah. If you look at the pattern, 14-3, 11-6, 14-3, 11-6. time to go back to 14-3. My God, let's keep it going.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you just keep hiring other guys. That's all. You don't get rid of the two main guys when you're winning. You just say it's everyone else's fault and keep changing them until it doesn't work. Because like you said, it worked twice already. It worked with Kellen Moore and it worked with Shane Steichen. Went to 2 Super Bowls. So you just have to keep getting strong staffs and changing things up a little bit and then hoping your team actually plays well. So that's the next step. But Howie will do what he needs to do to get the right guys in the building. If they get Brian Daboll, that's going to be a really good sign. I think that's a sign that, he could have had other offers and came and wanted to do something here. So that would be awesome. But there's still other candidates out there. So I think we could
Just be patient, I guess, and be patient and wait and see like everybody else. Hey, shout out to the 125 in here. You guys, much love to you guys. Showing the love tonight. Hit that like, hit that follow, hit that share, hit that retweet, hit that subscribe, my guy. Like, even all you guys on Twitter, man, come over and subscribe to your boy. Try and get that 11K. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to do it for about a year now. So come over, hit that subscribe. You can go back to Twitter and watch it. Ain't no crime in that. It's all free, my guy. But much love to all you guys. Tom, before you get out of here, I got one last question for you. Is Lane Johnson coming back this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to announce that it's going to be his last season before it's actually his last season. So I think he's going to come back this year. I don't think he wanted to end it on an injury. So yeah, I definitely think so. I don't think they're gonna double back on Frank Reich either. By the way, I just saw that comment. So
yeah, the Frank Reich. I don't want Frank Reich either. I just feel like no.
Nah, they're
not.
That's like
Super Bowl before. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was part of this Super Bowl run. It was the Super Bowl before.
You want to hear about someone, and everyone's like, don't hire someone that's Sirianni's friend or anything like that. I think that's the biggest friend he's got right there.
That's his best friend. We thought him and KP were best friends. You were taking it to a whole other level.
Reich is Sirianni's mentor, so if you don't like Sirianni, you definitely don't want Reich. But he has that special place because he won the Super Bowl with us, so it's like a conflict of interest there. But I don't think they're going to double back.
Even Dougie P, like I thought about even bringing Dougie P in, but I was just like, will they be able to handle that? Dougie P got that in front of the stadium, but Coach Sirianni be able to come into the stadium knowing he won a Super Bowl too. But Dougie P's like, hey, my statue's right out there, my guy. I know what I'm doing.
That'd be so goofy, and I'll tell you what, I don't even think Doug P is that good of a.
He said he might do it.
I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, how he called him, he was down.
I didn't like after that Super Bowl. We went so downhill so fast. Like I don't want Doug Peterson around.
I don't want you on the premises. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, thank you again, Tom. Make sure you guys go follow my boy Tom on X, baby. He drops Eagles jewels every single day with the Tom Steaks, my guy. Man, that's my dog, man. I'm so happy we got to see each other at the Chargers game finally. That was awesome, my guy. And hopefully we see you at plenty more games, my guy. And I know this won't be our last show together for sure. Like I said, anytime you're free over the next couple of weeks, you want to jump on here, hit me up, let me know. I'm definitely gonna holler at you too, my guy. So last word before we get out of here. What do you guys say to Eagles Nation, Tom?
Well, I think I just saw a report that said the Eagles and some other team, I think the Bucks maybe had interest in McDaniel, or it was something like that, and he went to the Chargers. So I know Eagles Nation's going to be panicked about that and freak out, and saying be patient with these guys. And I feel like when all's said and done, the Eagles are going to be back winning games this year, and it's all going to be all this hype around whose OC went where is going to go away, and what's going to matter is the best team. And I think the Eagles can come right back and have that. So they just need to make the right moves. Still don't think the Chargers are a threat to us in any way anyway. So I'm glad that they went and McDaniel went to the AFC and he's staying far away from us. Other than that, we'll see what happens with this coaching search. So fly.
One more. I don't know if you said it before. Who's winning the Super Bowl, Tom?
Oh my gosh, this is the hardest year to predict of all time. I don't want the Rams to win it. Any of the other three teams are fine. God.
Who's going to the Super Bowl? Let's not spoil that one. That could be like another show. Who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's winning this weekend?
I'm going to say Patriots, Seahawks. I think the Seahawks pull it off against the Rams some way, somehow. And I mean, it's not some way somehow. They're a really good team. So I think it's going to be a rematch of the 2014 Super Bowl, Patriots versus Seahawks.
Nice.
Drake May leading the charge against Sam Darnold.
I think that the upset's going to happen this week. I think the Broncos somehow, Sean Payton does it, and they win the Patriots,
Jared
and they go to the Super Bowl and go against the Seahawks. Patriots, Seahawks, Super Bowl.
Broncos, Seahawks.
It'd be crazy, man. That'd be nuts, you know. And at the in the Super Bowl, then I would probably say Seattle wins because I think like we said, I don't think it'll be two historical games, you know, from Stidham. I'm pretty positive he might be able to pull off one historical game.
Yeah.
You know, jumpstart his career, hopefully get a job somewhere else, and then Super Bowl comes and gets blown out by Seattle.
I mean, the Broncos are a defensive team anyway, so all they need to do is play really good defense and hope that the guy doesn't turn the ball over a bunch or blow it, because that's where they can win that way. So that's what we'll see.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Much love to all you guys. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're gonna be dropping hits all off season long, and let's see you till next time. We out. Peace.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? He's a stud. He is.